Welcome once again to Marriage with Tatia's channel. This is your ultimate channel for married couples that want to make a difference in their marriage. Our topic this morning is simple, titled, When Sexual Appetites Differ. I discovered that you can be looking at a couple and you think everything is rosy because they are laughing out there. They are getting connected with friends. Everybody thinks, oh, this couple are having it awesome in their marriage. But you don't know that there is a major challenge, a major underlying problem that if not taken care of immediately can pose a serious threat to the marriage. And one of them is what I call sexual differences, when sexual appetites are different. When one couple, one partner is hyperactive sexually and the other one is docile. You may not hear such complaints outside, but inside the bedroom is posing a serious threat to their union. I have a couple that came to me one day for counseling, and the man said his wife, simply put, is a nymphomaniac. A nymphomaniac is somebody who is addicted to sex, somebody who is insatiable in terms of sexual intercourse. And in interacting with this couple, I got to know that the man was actually right, because they were having sex every day of the week, every day of the month. First in the morning before the man goes to work, he has sex with his wife. When he comes back in the evening after dinner, he will have sex with his wife again, twice every day. And the man is complaining that it is impacting negatively in his energy level at work. He can hardly concentrate, and sometimes he falls asleep, and that this cannot continue. And he has been with this woman over more than 2-3 years of marriage. And he said to me, he cannot remember any day that they didn't have sex. And it's a major problem, really. I also have a situation where a sister came to me to report that she wants to leave her husband. And I thought that they were having a quality marriage, really. Except that when I sat down to discuss with her, she said to me that 7 days of the week that the man makes love to her 3 times every night. 3 rounds every night. And she can't take it. That she's almost having all manner of wounds on her. She's no longer feeling good about it. That it appears as if the man had been possessed by an agency. So, and by the time I interacted, the man said, what are you talking about? That I am sexually active. That is what most women want. I said, no, but that's not what your woman wants. He said, she should want it. She should want it. As a matter of fact, he threw a jab at me and told me that he has an Abrahamic anointing. I said, what does he mean by that? An Abrahamic anointing is, I said, what do you mean by that? He said he meant that even when Abraham, everybody thought he had retired after 100 years of age and Sarah was dead, he married a younger Keturah and he continued pumping her until she has 6 children. That he has Abraham's blood in his veins. Wow. I mean, these are things you hear during counseling sessions. Is a crazy thing, really. So tonight, as we begin to look at this more critically, I want you to, I'm going to take this in 2 editions, really, because there are so many things to say about this. So many things. So I will just do half in this edition, and I will give you the concluding part in the next edition. So please listen to me attentively. When sexual appetites differ, what should a couple do? The very first thing they need to do is to acknowledge the fact that they have a major issue at hand. It's very, very important that you do that. Acknowledge that fact. It's not something to be ashamed of, and it's not something to become judgmental about your partner. It's not something, because we all grew up from diverse settings and backgrounds, and certain influences may have encouraged what is happening in the life of that individual. So it's not a time to criticize or begin to, judge such a fellow. No. But first of all, acknowledge that there is a problem. And of course, there's a problem when every night a woman wants to have sex or a man wants to have sex every night. Then there is something that needs to be adjusted. So agree first of all that there is a challenge that needs to be taken care of. That's the first point. The second thing you need to do actually is to open communication to one another, effectual communication. Like I said earlier, it's not about judging or criticizing one another, but it's about owning up to what is happening around you. Own up to it. Openly discuss it. Discuss it with a calm spirit. Find out why it is happening. Is it as a result of a psychological problem or an emotional problem? Somebody in the youthful age may have been caged by very stringent parents or guardians, to the extent that by the time that they leave the umbrella of such a guardian, they want to explore. And in exploring, they explored further than is actually needed, and they became nymphomaniacs. Or maybe the other person is docile because of a stress factor, maybe too much workload, or because of sickness. Something like sugar level, high sugar level in the body, or what we call diabetes, can cause the sexual potency of an individual to go low. It can be as a result of sickness. It can be as a result of certain disease in the body that may need to be taken care of. It can also be as a result of hormonal imbalance. If a man there is this thing in a man, testosterone is a kind of hormone that enables the man to work optimally during sexual intercourse. But as the man advances in age, 40, 50, 60, this hormone begins to come down, and the same thing happens to the man's capacity to actually fulfill his sexual obligations to his wife. So it can happen. Is it as a result of hormonal imbalance? You need to have a quality discussion to actually uncover what is happening in your relationship sexually. Don't begin to complain. Just, calmly discuss it. Now, the other thing also, the third thing you need to do also, is in the midst of that discussion, begin actually to find out why those things are happening. Years ago, I had a lady I counseled, and I didn't know, took a time for me actually to dig into why she's very, very lethargic when it comes to sex. She folds up. Anytime the husband comes to her, she's afraid. And this is a woman who have been having sex over a period. But each time the husband comes to her, she recoils. It's like she's afraid. And the man is concerned about it. Couldn't find out what actually is the problem. But in the course of our discussion, I discovered that this lady actually was a rape victim years ago. When she was still a teenager, she was raped. And it was so violent that if she sees men, she becomes afraid. And this fear had gone with her into adulthood. And the husband didn't know this. Even though she was not involved in a relationship of marriage where sex would become normal, she's still apprehensive anytime she meets the husband. So these are things you uncover. And as you uncover this and begin to find out the reasons why these are happening, it becomes easier for you to find solutions to these things. Very important indeed. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so immediately. There's this red button by my side. Once you click on it, you get subscribed and become a part of the Marriage Without Tears family. This is actually a family. So be part of us. The fourth thing you need to do is to begin to look at intimacy comprehensively. While you are having so much sex and indulging yourself in so much sex, this is a physical aspect of intimacy. There is an emotional aspect of intimacy. There is a psychological aspect of intimacy. There is a spiritual aspect of intimacy. There is also a mental aspect of intimacy. The reason why you are indulging in so much sex is because you have left the other aspects of intimacy undeveloped. For instance, if a couple have spiritual intimacy, they will find themselves indulging in retreats. They find themselves indulging in Bible study or in study of the Quran or whatever deity they worship. They find more time and relevance in studying the scriptures. And in the place of study and meditation and prayers, a whole lot of time is taken away from physical intimacy. So that's what I mean by exploring other forms of intimacy. There's also an emotional side of intimacy whereby you can develop a hobby that both of you will appreciate. It can be badminton, it can be tennis, it can be playing Ludo, it can be any game that takes away, the time you spend on bed, it takes it away, and then you employ it into this form of intimacy. It can be something as wonderful as sitting down and calling and discussing deep things like your visions in life, like the values you hold so sacrosanct, like certain ideas that may transform your life and marriage and can even transform society. You can, in the midst of such discussion, enter into a deep form of intimacy that you never explored before. These are other forms of intimacy. I know of a couple very early in the morning and even in the evening, they go out jogging. They became so addicted to it. So very early in the morning, around 5 a.m., you find them jogging. They jog for about 30 minutes, come back to the house, take their bath, prepare for work, and they become very agile at the workplace. And when they come back to the house, they have this indoor gym. When they finish taking their dinner, they mount the indoor gym and gym a little bit for 30 minutes before going to bed. I mean, these are other forms of intimacy. Learn how to develop other forms of intimacy to suck away the energy that you expend so much on the physical form of intimacy. That is the next thing you need to do. And the fifth one I will tell us, because I will end on this fifth one. Like I told you, I will continue with the session next one. So the fifth one I would like to tell you, learn to be empathetic and compromising. I'm not saying you should suppress your sexual desires, no. But I'm also saying that you should have a middle point. The quality marriage is the one that thrives on sacrifice. Being able to sacrifice for one another. Being able to understand that even though my partner may not meet me at the level I desire him or her to meet me, but because he or she is my partner for life, I'm able to commit. I'm able to sacrifice. I'm able to accept him or her at whatever level that, So learn how to, accommodate one another's feelings, accommodate one another's perceptions, accommodate one another's desires, accommodate one another's energy level. And then, like two adults that are on a mission, a lifetime mission, learn how to warm up to one another and be able to encourage one another at whatever level you are. It's very important that you do that. Once again, my name is Felix Okeke. I am your marriage counselor and coach. And before you check out, please look at this very red button, click on it, get subscribed, and let's do this next week. Next week, I'm going to discuss the second part of this wonderful topic. I look forward to seeing you. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.